All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 31 of A Few Good Mics. Not the usual crew, just three-fourths of us today because Nate Wall's in Minnesota, of course. But we still got Mike and Garb. How is everybody?
Good. How you doing?
Good morning.
I think doing pretty good. It's a good week. Super Bowl's on Sunday, but we'll start off with some breaking news that just happened about 10 minutes ago. The Chiefs have traded Alex Smith to the Washington Redskins. It looks like Adam Schefter, he's reporting that the Chiefs are getting a second-round pick in return. And the Skins have already agreed to a 4-year extension with Alex Smith. So it means a whole lot of things. Obviously, the Pat Mahomes era is now officially underway in Kansas City. It means Kirk Cousins is going somewhere else in free agency. So all that you got to unpack. Just thoughts on we'll start off with this. What do you think of Washington trading a second-round pick and latching their future to Alex Smith?
Yeah, I'll just jump the gun here. I don't think it's a bad move at all. I think it's a really good move for the Skins. I frankly don't agree with the move as far as if I was a Chiefs fan. I know everyone always thinks Alex Smith can't throw the ball far. He's a game manager, blah, 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 all this garbage. But I just looked up some of his stats because I thought he had a good year. He was 8th overall in passing yards. He had the 7th best QBR. He was 9th overall in touchdown passes. He only threw 5 picks, which if you do that, one being, I think it was like Cam Newton had the most, being number 1. He was 34th, better than Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Rivers. I mean, like everybody. He was ecstatic. 5 picks is insane. And he was number 1 in passer rating, one overall in the league. This is during the regular season, but I mean, that's top 10 in everything. He had a great year. I think it's just the mentality that he's a game manager isn't appealing to people. But if you look at Bears stats and how the guy performed, he had a great year. Obviously, at some point they'll need to move on, but I probably got at least 2 years left that are going to be solid. He's probably coming off one of the best years of his career. I was shocked, but I know the organization wanted to make a shift. Like I said, I don't know why. You're top 10 in everything from a quarterback standpoint. If you get rid of the idea that you put that name, let's put Phillip Rivers on him and throw those stats on him, you're not going to question anything.
Well, I don't know about that because how much of Alex Smith like the yards, and obviously it's good that he doesn't have any turnovers, but how much all he's doing is like dump off passes really, and how much of his yards are yards after the catch, like dumping it off to Kareem Hunt or Tyreek Hill, and they're making the plays, and then Alex Smith gets credit for the yards. I don't know. I don't think you can he's fine. He's solid quarterback, right? Mid-tier, but I wouldn't get it with
his average yards per pass attempt is 8, second in the league behind Drew Brees.
Per pass attempt, how much did the ball travel in the air?
That's you have to find that out. But I'm just saying, no matter what, I mean, I get it. If he's top 10 in everything, why does it matter how he's getting the job done?
Because he doesn't have Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt in Washington.
I guess I'm not more or less questioning that. I think he'll do a little bit worse there because he doesn't have the weapons. But I'm saying, if you're the Chiefs, I don't know why you're doing this.
But it's because you want to go with Pat Mahomes. They drafted him and that they traded up to get him, and you think you already hit your ceiling with Alex Smith because they had a good team. They've got a veteran defense. They've got weapons on offense, and they couldn't do anything against Tennessee. They completely blew that game in the second half. So I think that was probably the turning point. And even then, midway through the season, they said that there were reports that they were going to trade him. So for Washington, I think to give up a second rounder for him when Kansas City was probably desperate to get rid of him doesn't make sense. But what makes sense from Washington's standpoint is that you would rather trade for Alex Smith than pay Kirk Cousins, franchise him again and make him $35 million. Because if you're Kirk Cousins, you're not going to take anything less than that. When you can just go on the open market instead. So I think, I don't know. It's just weird for me.
I don't think it's a bad move. I think it's a bad
it makes more
move
sense to me from the Chiefs. I'm the opposite of you. It makes more sense if you're the Chiefs for me.
I think you're putting all your eggs in Patrick Mahomes and you know nothing of him outside of what he's done in practice. I feel like it's going to be just like a Bills situation when they took Tyrod out to put what's-his-face in there, and they're all about it. They're like, yeah, we're moving this way. And then all the analysts are like saying how, I can't remember the tight end's name. They're all going to go off fantasy-wise because this guy's in the game, and he could throw much better than Tyrod. He goes in the game, absolutely shits the bed, is trash, and then they go back to Tyrod in the same game. I'm just saying, like, you're putting all your eggs in Patrick Mahomes when you have a guy that's top 10 in every category quarterback-wise.
The difference is you're not doing that. You're not doing that mid-season.
That's fair, but like, what are you going to benefit? You're going to have to get him.
You got Andy Reid instead of a defensive coach. Andy Reid is proven he can work with quarterbacks. So, and you've got a whole off season. You've got 6 months to work with Mahomes and making this and do that. And you've already had the first year.
No, I'm just saying. Like I said, I don't think you're putting all your eggs in that basket and just rolling it out. So if it doesn't work, you're totally boned.
Well,
and you'd have to be better than a top 10 quarterback in the league to pan out better.
It's just that they're willing to take the risk, obviously. And they wouldn't have traded up for Pat Mahomes if they didn't know that they were going to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you'll never know until we actually find out how good he is. But yeah, I think it's
we'll find out this next year.
A bad trade off the bat for Kansas City. Garb?
Yeah, Garb, what are your thoughts on this?
So a lot of what I was going to say was already hashed back and forth. The only thing I got concerned on is like what Mooney said there is I think Alex Smith thrived based on his system, having such a great playmaker in Tyreek Hill, having such a elite target in Travis Kelce, having such a great goal star. Kareem Hunt. So I think that helped relish his overall stats, plus having what more often than that was a strong defense held that offense. So tremendously at certain points of the season now, they went up and down a lot on both sides of the ball. I think that's where he's going to struggle when he goes to Washington, especially because Jordan Reed is so injury prone. The guy can barely get through a single game as it is without pulling a hamstring or whatnot. Well, Vernon Davis is a reliable target, yet he's kind of old, so you're kind of playing with fire in that matter. I don't mind the trade because I do think that Kansas City was working towards Mahomes as a matter of when. But Mike does bring up a great point after having such an elite season. It does seem kind of questionable why would you get rid of him because you take Smith out of that faction. A lot of that success they have probably doesn't occur. Now, I know Kareem Hunt went off this year, and it's not a real direct reflection to Alex Smith, but he did so well. It is questionable why the Chiefs would give him up. But maybe they were just so stuck in wanting to see what Mahomes has, and maybe they have plans for whatever that second-round pick is for him. It's hard to say at this point. There's pros. There's also cons. I guess we'll see. I think Kansas City is going to make on top of this just because I don't know what Alex Smith is going to be able to do with what Washington has. But that's more or less just my opinion on it.
Yeah, but I mean, like you guys said, he benefits from Kareem Hunt, and Mooney did as well as far as Tyreek Hill. I get that, but you could say that about any quarterback. You could say Ben Roethlisberger benefits from Antonio Brown and the rest of that offense because they do. If you're a good quarterback, you make everyone else shine.
Yeah, but you're throwing that ball down the field, which how many times has Alex Smith?
Dude, but like there was plenty of games where he did bomb it out to Tyreek Hill and it worked out. Like we need to find the stat where
I'm looking for it right now. I'm trying, but because
I think he bombed it out there more than you would think.
He did this year. He did this year. But
if that's the only like downside to
if
him,
that's-
I don't get it. I don't get it. I think you can only go down unless you get an absolute elite quarterback that's going to bring you top 5. And the odds are not in Patrick Mahomes' favor at all, whether you got Andy Reid or what. Because by the time he hones in, I mean, yes, you could have like a Carson Wentz type season where he's a rookie and just throws the ball like crazy. But I just don't think I can't see that, I guess. And I think it's going to be like a Trubinsky season where it's all over. And by the time he's finally tuned up 2-3 years down the road, maybe 3-4 even, then, you're going to have guys like Kelsey gone, Tyreek Hill is going to be aged, what have you. Who knows if Kareem Hunt's even there anymore after that. I guess that's more of a win now mentality that I have, unless you're completely broken down.
I think
like the Giants, I get trading away and doing whatever there. But if you have a top 10 quarterback, I don't understand the move as far as that goes. And like I said, no matter what, if I threw those numbers, if I just blindsided you with 2 quarterbacks numbers, and one of them was, I don't know, like let's just say Phillip Rivers, and one of them was Alex Smith, and then I just told you the numbers straight up, I was like, which quarterback do you want? Without a name applied to it, you'd be like, oh, well, I want Alex Smith. But it's the mentality that you have with Alex Smith. When you say his name, you think of his past, you think of game manager, and you don't want anything to do with it because of that. But I'm just saying his stats don't lie. His players obviously has good people around him, but so does every good quarterback.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know, because I guess you're right on that. But still, well. I'm looking at okay. Yeah, 50. Okay, I do have the stats here actually. Depth of target. This is from Nate's least favorite website for some reason, Pro Football Focus. I've got the site right here.
The site is incredible, no matter what it says. Pertinent.
50% of or 70% of his passes were either behind the line of scrimmage or from 0 to 9 yards.
That's pretty high. But then, like, you gotta play that with somebody else too. Like, try that with Russell Wilson or Tyrod Taylor or anybody just to compare.
The guy literally above him on their list is Russell Wilson. He was at 60. So it's not.
So that's what I'm saying. It's not at all bad, and you're not trading Russell Wilson.
And Carson Wentz, the guy above him, was at 58. So, I think.
So I'm saying he aired it out. There's no reason to trade him.
There's this year. He did air it out more. And I think
if you take away his name,
a lot to do with that.
A lot of teams would want him. Is he going to do as good on Washington? No.
No.
Because they don't have as good a weapon.
They're not making the playoffs next year. Unless they get another stud receiver. Because
say they land Jarvis Landry to couple with Pryor. I think Pryor's a free agent though. Didn't he only sign a 1-year deal?
Yeah, and I don't think they'll bring him back. I don't think they're looking to bring him back.
Well, let's just say they have 2 wide receivers. You might.
Yeah,
I think we're way too long on this topic, but from a normal standpoint, you're this far. You beat the Patriots at the beginning of the season. You walloped them. You've had a really good year. You were up and down. You cannot blame that all on Alex Smith at all for the multitude of issues in that team. But when you're top 10 in everything and like almost top 5 in half the categories, and now that you say he's airing it out just as much as Russell Wilson, almost Carson Wentz, I don't see it. You're only going to go down unless you get this, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady guy in there. You're not going back up. You're not getting higher than that. So why are you trading him? He's not got a huge cap, I'm sure.
They saved them $17 million. So that's another thing.
They can help, but I don't get it. I think it's a stupid move. I think if he changed his name to John Barner, everyone would be all about him.
All right. Well, it's for me, it makes sense on both sides just because what they're looking to do.
Well, and you're right. If they wanted to move on, they got their wish. They got picks for it.
And we will find out this year. Maybe not this year, just this year for Mahomes, because it'll be his first year starting. But
it'll be a project.
Yeah. Just quickly before we go to our Super Bowl, where do you think? Just a quick thought on where Kirk Cousins might end up.
I have no idea. I would have said the 49ers, but that's obviously out.
Yeah.
I think Arizona is a good spot for him. With Palmer retiring, obviously a quarterback there, they just had struggles throughout the entire year. I could see Arizona trying to put a good foothold, trying to bring Cousins in. That would just kind of be what I think is logical, but I really have no factual basis on that.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Arizona right now. They'll have about not even $30 million in cap room, so I don't think they'll have to make some moves if they want to clear some up and then get their draft picks in. But you're looking at, I think the top team that's probably going to, or the top suitor after him probably is going to be Cleveland if they decide they don't want to use the number 1 pick on a quarterback. But
yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I thought he was a deadlock for the Niners after this season until they did the Garoppolo trade. So
the Niners are definitely out on that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I like the Arizona though. I think he'd do well there.
And I would have said, and I'd still say Jacksonville might be in the mix too, even though there were reports too that they're going to go with Blake Bortles next year. But we'll see. We'll see. But if I were to just make a quick guess right now, I'd say Cleveland.
All right, let's move on.
Let's move on. Super Bowl 52 this Sunday. Eagles, Patriots. Brady's looking for ring number 6, I believe. Is it 5 or 6?
5. It's 5.
It's
I'm
5?
pretty sure it's 5.
7th Super Bowl appearance. He's looking for ring number 5. I got a short list of questions here for you guys, and we'll obviously have to start off with you, Mike, since Garb is having his technical difficulties. What are your just general expectations for the game?
Like any sporting event, I want it to be close. If it's a blowout, like last year, I was extremely mad even when the Falcons were dominating, just because I wanted them to win the game. I don't think anybody likes to see that unless, there's really, you don't get a whole lot of enjoyment out of it. But I hope it's close and like a good game, like back when the Seahawks played the Patriots and it was the Malcolm Butler interception and everything like that. You're on the edge of your seat. It's just phenomenal. I guess in the third and mostly the fourth quarter of last year's, it was good because they were coming back, but the whole game was trash. I hope the Eagles come to play. Obviously they will, but everyone's saying how the Patriots have this one in the bag already, and there's no chance for the Patriots on the line and everything, or no chance for the Eagles on the line and everything. But I think the Eagles are going to come to play, and I think it's going to be closer than people think, especially if that defense holds out like it has in the past couple of games here. And if Gronk is out, that's going to be huge. Huge.
I'll let you know now that they should know on Gronk tomorrow, but Gronk expects to be cleared. So
I would figure he would, but
you never know with concussion protocol.
I had a concussion in the regular season. I can't think of the running back. It was the Bengals running back Joe Mixon. He was out for like 2.5 weeks with a concussion.
Everyone's different. You never
know. Sam Shields is out for like 3 years, but he had like 20 concussions. So you never know.
Yeah, I guess my general expectation just going in is that I think it's going to be just like almost every other Patriots Super Bowl. It's just destined to be a classic finish. You look there in the 6 Super Bowl appearances for Tom Brady that the Patriots have been in with Tom Brady. The average margin of victory on either side it's averaged out to be like 4 points. And the Patriots they have a flair for the dramatic, and hell, they couldn't even blow out I shouldn't be saying that's just because they haven't had such a great defense, but even the Jaguars made it dramatic, and the Eagles have a better offense, you'd say, probably than the Jags.
Oh yeah,
and definitely a better offense. They blew out the Vikings for God's sakes, and then they have just they might be a little bit below Jacksonville, but their defense is just as elite. They got playmakers all over the place. And then you look, they can run the ball with, they got 4 different running backs they can march through there. And then, yeah, so I'm expecting another classic game.
Yeah, I hope that their ground and pound of the Eagles wears on that defense on top with being able to air it out. That's a bad combo for the Pats defense that struggled kind of all year. By the way, Tom Brady has 5 rings.
He does have 5?
Yeah.
So he's going for 6. Okay. Well, no, then that can't be right because he lost 2. Then this has to be appearance number 8 then.
Says has won 5 Super Bowl rings quarterbacking the Patriots.
Okay, so he's going for 6. Okay.
Falcons was the 5th, obviously.
Yeah. And one thing I can't believe I just remembered it now when I was just talking about the running backs. It could be a LeGarrette Blount revenge game. How about that?
Yeah.
So, Garb's still having his difficulties, I guess. Or Garb, are you back?
I don't think he is.
Nope, it's not back. All right. So I'll go to the next question then. If there's a certain matchup you think that we should be looking at, then what would you say? What are you looking forward to?
Like I said, I'm really excited for the running back matchups. Man, you have 2 number 1 overall backs that would start anywhere. Obviously, Ajayi did against the Pats defense. That's going to be huge because the Pats have their defense has been so mediocre all year. But the thing with the Pats defense is when they want to do something, when they game plan and they just do it. Mm-hmm. You're like, Leonard Fournette, they had the best rushing attack in the league per stats. And for the most part, they shut them down. Obviously, I think the offenses are drastically different, but it's like when the Patriots need to do something as far as scheme to stop a 3-headed monster like the running backs for the Eagles, they can do it. I think it's going to be an extremely awesome matchup. Coupled with Nick Foles airing it out to Alshon Jeffrey and Aguilar, whoever, Zach Ertz. It's going to be awesome, that defense versus that offense. As far as the Patriots matchup offensively versus the Eagles, I don't know. I expect that to be average. Brady throws up a couple tutties, maybe a pick. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to you got the running backs. I'm looking to see how Nick Foles does passing the ball because I think what you said, how they shut down. They did really well against Leonard Fournette last week or 2 weeks ago. That was mainly due because they don't respect Blake Bortles, and you have to respect Nick Foles more than that because the way, and especially after he torched that Vikings defense. They won't be able to play him the same. So if he can, and Philly obviously has better weapons on the outside than Jacksonville does. So if he can air it out, you pair that obviously with the great running game and all their running backs, except for maybe Blount, can catch the ball out of the backfield. You got weapons coming from everywhere.
Weapons galore.
So if Nick Foles, man, he's the
X factor in that game. That guy plays out.
That's leading into my next question. The X factor of the game.
There it is.
So
perfect transition.
Perfect segue, man.
Yeah, no, I think definitely the X factor. He's a rookie quarterback, which also means I think Belichick's going to throw some stuff at him that he knows he hasn't seen or he knows he's going to have to react well to. It's a huge spotlight, man. It's going to be his dream, obviously. I had read an article that, when he had that good year with the Eagles, he was living it up. And then I don't remember who'd they go with? Did they go with he didn't play the next year.
No, they traded for Sam Bradford, I believe.
Yes. And so then he had contemplated just being done with football, quitting football and going about his life. And now he gets thrown back in there at quarterback and takes him to a Super Bowl. Man, this is huge for him. And it's gotta be nerves. And like I said, I think Belichick knows this and is going to throw stuff at him he hasn't seen and maybe definitely cover schemes harder so that it's harder to identify for him. So he's the hugest, the biggest X factor there is. He's just lucky. He's got a great defense behind him. coupled with weapons all over on offense. That arguably probably one of the best offenses in the league.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to go with an X factor for me is going to be at least on the Eagles side. You go with Foles. I'll go with the last year we had the Wisconsin running back James White, should have been Super Bowl MVP. He was making plays all over the place. I'm thinking we could see possibly the same thing from Corey Clement this year. He's the number 3 on the chart, but he gets a lot of time. He plays a lot on passing downs, and he can make some guys miss, get out in open space. That's another thing that the Patriots have had trouble with in the past is running backs coming out of the backfield, and you can move them pretty much anywhere. So you get one of their linebackers on him, and I think he could have a surprising day.
Yeah, so no, that's a good point. The only thing is you just got to get in there and get the touches he needs to do it.
Yeah. All right. Looks like we got Garb back. I'll go back to question number 1 for Garb. Do you have a general expectation going into the Super Bowl 52?
I guess my expectation is that it's going to be close, but God damn, why am I having so many issues today? My expectation is that it's going to be close because I think it's 2 fairly evenly matched teams. I just feel like it's going to be the same result as we all have seen year in and year out. But I guess it's kind of hard to say. Realistically, I just don't want to have a blowout. There's one thing I go into every year is I just don't want to blow out.
That's funny that you said that because that's exactly what I said. I don't want to watch it. I turned the Falcons game off and had to turn it back on. It's annoying.
Yeah. Well, that was like last year where I actually was going into the game. I was cheering for one because they beat the Packers, 2 because they're the NFC. It's like, all right, we're going to cheer for the team that beat us. And then when it was 28-3, it's like, I want to see the Patriots do good just because I wanted to have it. I actually wanted just to have a game, let it be exciting. I didn't think they were going to come back, but I just want to at least have it be a fun game to watch. I don't want to go in and just see that it's like, oh, cool, it's 35-7. It just gets boring. And the way the commercials have been, those aren't even exciting either. So I just want it to be a close game.
Yeah. So, and then
I hope I answered your question.
That's good. Next question is if there's a certain matchup on the field you think that we should watch out for?
Fuck, I can't remember what his name is now for the Eagles. It's on the tip of my tongue. One of their D linemen.
Fletcher Cox.
That's the guy.
Chris Long.
Fletcher Cox is what I'm thinking of. I think he can be a matchup nightmare, especially with Long there. I wasn't even thinking about him, but I'm happy you brought that up. I'm thinking if they can get pressure on Brady, that's going to completely deter their offensive scheme. Now, I know right now Gronk has technically not been cleared yet. We all know by Sunday, no matter what, Gronk will play in this game. But I think Fletcher Cox up front is going to be a huge either sign of success or reason for them losing, because once they put pressure on Brady, that's going to make all the difference. So I think that's going to be the matchup I'm looking forward most. Now, who he matches up against are for the Patriots. So sorry, I can't be that specific, but I'm looking at Fletcher Cox.
All right, and then an X factor you're looking at.
Ooh, Nick Foles. Just because he's either going to play amazing like he did against the Vikings, or he's going to play subpar the way he did against the Falcons. Whatever game that he brings in is going to be the difference offensively for the Eagles. I know that's obvious, but he's still kind of that questionable factor. We don't know what he's going to bring, what he's going to do. So I think that's really the mystery when it comes to the Eagles either having a chance to win or a key reason to them losing. So I really like what he's going to bring to the table on that aspect, because he is the one that's going to command that offense, and he's really got to bring his A game bar none.
All right, and that's basically it for my list of questions. Is there anything that you guys want to talk about before we get to predictions?
I guess I just kind of got one thing. I'd heard this at work, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that Vikings fans were signing up to be Uber and Lyft drivers specifically to pick up Eagles fans and take them to their wrong destinations. Have you guys heard anything about that?
That's probably why Nate's in Minnesota right now.
No, that could be complete bullshit. But as the way that the Eagles treated the Vikings fans, that would be hilarious if they did that, especially if they lost. Oh my God!
Come on,
fuck Minnesota, but
how petty is that for Vikings fans? If you're going into Philadelphia, you know how what their fans are like. Come on.
Oh, I know, but beer cans getting thrown at people.
Yeah,
at least drink the beer
that was
first.
brutal.
But I agree. That would be funny though.
And I just heard that might be completely false, but just with what's all going on with that, I thought that was kind of funny to hear.
All right, so I guess that's it. We'll go to predictions. Who wants to start off? Who's got the winner, score, Super Bowl MVP?
So I think we all touched on like everything about the game, so this will be pretty quick. I think I want the Eagles to win, and I think like when everybody pulls for the upset in the country, it kind of happens. It seems like that's just the way it goes. So I'm going Eagles. Let's go 24-21.
Commit to your
MVP.
Really? Was this revenge of Super Bowl 39?
MVP Nick Foles.
All right. Garb, your score.
All right, you want me to go? All right. So,
yeah.
Again, cheering for the Eagles on this. Love to see them win. I'm going to go with what I think makes sense, and I'm going to pick New England. Now, again, like I talked about the Big Ten championship, I hope I'm wrong. I just feel that the Patriots are going to be better matched, both game plan wise, experience. Brady, Belichick they know what they're doing. Foles, Peterson, I think they're a bit young. Obviously, I like that they're able to match up there. I just think that the Patriots are going to take it out. I'm going to kind of consider this a little bit of a shootout, 31-24.
31-24. I'm so split on this. It's crazy. I'll be rooting like crazy for the Eagles. I think just so I don't like Boston sports in general, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to pick the Patriots to win, as much as I hate to say it. But it's gonna be a close game. I'm gonna go 21-20. I think that's that vintage Brady drive at the end. And your Super Bowl MVP will be Rob Gronkowski, not Tom Brady.
Oh, I never touched on my Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, Super Bowl MVP. Yeah. Go for it. What is yours?
All right. I can't do it. Never mind. I wanted to give it to who should have got it last year. I just don't think James White's going to touch the ball enough.
No.
I'm going to say big game out of Brandon Cooks. I feel like
true. Left ball out of nowhere.
Whoa! The guy hasn't done shit all year. You're calling him out of the Super Bowl.
Well, I say
Deion Branch
that
won a
as
Super Bowl MVP once.
No matter what stats Cooks gets better, I just hope that the media finally realizes, okay, Brady's had it a few times. Let's go somewhere else. Let's do something different. So, if I haven't done something surprising before, that's my surprise.
I got this breaking news. Redskins to give Alex Smith $94 million over 4 years, 71 guaranteed.
I was going to say that before we moved on to our next topic.
That's pretty wild. Like I said, if he performs at the level he did this year, well worth it. If he trails off, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, they're banking on it not being a fluke year, and
Time will tell.
Well, we'll see. All right, that concludes our Super Bowl coverage. So next up, we're a big weekend, a very exciting weekend in the wrestling world of sports entertainment. Sort of messed up the transition, but Garb, we need your review on the Royal Rumble.
So I enjoyed the show. I mean, it was 4, so it was a 4-hour gig. Started at 6 Central here, goes till 10 o'clock. Started off with the handicap match between AJ Styles and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for the WWE Championship. As the story goes, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn believe that Shane screwed them, that technically then it didn't make a tag, and Kevin shouldn't have got pinned. That doesn't matter. I think the storyline needs to end or another. It's just they've been carrying on this whole Sami Zayn hates Kevin Owens things for months. And it's interesting to a point because it keeps Shane involved. It gets him and Daniel Bryan kind of button heads. It's entertaining to a point, but it's very predictable now. Like going into this match, you knew something. Well, I can't say you knew, but you figured something was going to happen in the sense that Kevin Owens was going to feel he got screwed, which they kind of did. There technically wasn't a tag, but the ref decision is final. So SmackDown tonight kind of addressed it a little bit, but that match was kind of anticlimactic in that sense, but a good finish for AJ Styles. The men's Royal Rumble match, I didn't expect to go as early as it did. A little exciting. Rey Mysterio came back and actually was very involved. Usually a lot of these legends or guys that don't wrestle anymore who come back usually don't have that much of a stake in the Rumble, but he actually put himself out there pretty good. And the commentators, I know a lot of what they say is scripted, but he was actually very good shape, looked like he was really in routine with what was going on for him being gone for the few years he has been, which kind of begs you to, I think, for a last stint, maybe not, but I really liked what they did with Rey Mysterio there. Obviously,
that double 619, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was good. But having Nakamura win was smart. It finally gives us that rematch between him and Styles because they were such big stars over in Japan. I think that's going to make for a huge WrestleMania match. The only questionable aspect is it's a match that everybody's been wanting for so long. There's so much hype. Is it actually going to live up to that expectation? That's the only thing that sucks when you look at these type of matches is everyone gets so excited, so amped, but you can never live up to such an expectation. It's like Raw 25. So built up, you can never achieve that. I'm looking forward to it. I hope that they do it right. If Styles keeps the belt going in WrestleMania, I expect Nakamura to take it from him. Just, I think, because one, you got to kind of shift the change, and giving Nakamura the title would be a huge increase to the SmackDown brand because he kind of got shafted by losing to Jinder Mahal over the summer. The 2 out of 3 falls match between the Usos and Gable and Benjamin was not as exciting. I mean, Usos won 2-0. It was just kind of a really poor out match, I thought. I know it was there to kind of be a filler match between the Rumble and all that kind of stuff, but at least give Gable and Benjamin one fall. You don't have to give them the title, but don't have it be a 2-0. So I felt like they could have gave a little more to Gable and Benjamin, especially because just about a month ago, they actually beat them for the titles on SmackDown. Now, they would lose them about 5 minutes later when they imposed the rematch clause, but at least give them one fall. Don't give them a shutout there. As for the Raw Tag Team Championship between Jason Jordan, Seth Rollins, and The Bar, I'm thinking the turn there with having the belts go back to The Bar and Jordan having such a imposed injury, I'm thinking they're looking at putting Rollins on more of that singles-based route since Dean Ambrose did hurt his shoulder about 3 weeks back. Having Ambrose and Rollins as a tag team titles or champs, a lot more exciting than Rollins and Jason Jordan. I'm sorry, my names are getting mixed up. So I'm thinking they're going to put Rollins more in that singles route just because Ambrose is gone. As for the women's Rumble match, it was exciting it was really exciting having it be their first bout, having some of the legends come back. What I didn't like is you put two of your biggest stars at 1 and 2, Sasha Banks at 1 and then Becky Lynch at 2. That almost guaranteed the fact that neither one of those two were going to win, which then made it very realistic that Asuka was going to take which she did because she was entrant number 25. I believe in the history of the men's Rumble, which has gone 30 years now, only 4 people won out of that first or second spot. So you knew right there was no way that Banks or Lynch was going to win. And those are 2 of your bigger stars out of the women's brand. So I thought that was kind of ill-sought. It was really nice seeing like Trish Stratus, Beth Phoenix, Lita come back. But I feel like they had too many of those older legends come back. I guess Lita had a Lita Salt that didn't look very good. It was very low, very poorly done. It's exciting to see them come back, but I think some of them were just a little past their prime and made for a little bit of questionable showmanship there. But I think that they could have rerouted the entries a little better just to not make it so predictable. Going back, Nakamura, like I said, did claim that he's going after the WWE Championship. Technically, Asuka has not claimed who she'll be going after. My initial prediction, since Ronda Rousey showed up at the very end of the show, which I know you want to touch on, kind of made me think that Asuka would go after Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's title, and Rousey would go for Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown title. But I really don't know what the plans are for Rousey there, and Asuka technically hasn't claimed who she's going after yet. So I think Raw has a few things to clean up there. But on that topic, Alexa Bliss will be defending her title in the Elimination Chamber later this month, which will also be the first women's Elimination Chamber match in that stance. So we'll see what happens ultimately there. But Rousey coming out at the end was a huge shocker. There's been a lot of talks that she was in signing for coming to the WWE. It's finally now proven, it's finalized that she's got a full contract. The rumors are she'll make her debut at WrestleMania. I think part of that issue is she's currently filming, I think it's down in Colombia, so her time frames are very limited. But it'll be exciting to see what they do storyline-wise. I just hope they don't try to overwhelm her entry and not kind of build up the rest of the women's storylines either, which, just because I want to touch on this briefly, Nia Jax, her storylines have kind of all been ruined with Enzo Amore's, in real life, the sexual assault allegations against him. That takes away that romantic aspect between them two. And with Rousey coming back, that kind of puts Nia Jax on the back burner as for being that profound dominant force in the women's division, because I mean, it's Ronda Rousey. She's very
you gotta expect her to come in and dominate. Exactly. You'd think that would have to be the storyline.
Exactly. And that's the one thing that I'm wondering what they're gonna do here with Asuka too. She is yet to lose, and she's been in WWE for I think 2.5 years. I don't know why they're building her up so high like this, because what are they going to do after she loses? You can't just have her continue to win, have her to win. Because let's say they take her to WrestleMania, which she gets to go, and she wins the title. You're not just going to have her dump it after a week or two. So I don't know what their plans are for her, because they keep building her up so high. But at the same time, you're going to bring Rousey in and have her blow up as well. So I think they have some issues they got to resolve, but we'll see what they do with them all.
Yeah, I'll just touch on it real quick because I think I like that Rousey's going. I think it'll make me I might actually start watching WWE again. I like it's a full-time deal because I know from what I've seen, just like fans have been getting pissed at least that, John Cena's part-time and even Lesnar a bit is part-time. So knowing that she's committing to this and she's not just like a celebrity just trying to bring more attention to the WWE,
Yeah.
I think it'll be better for both of them. So Oh no, I'm looking forward to. I might tune in once in a while. So because I'm a big Rousey fan, so
Who's not?
Some people don't like her.
Those people are
It wasn't
idiots.
that I wasn't a fan of her, but I never tuned into her matches because why would I pay, let's say, $50 for a pay-per-view to see a 35-second match?
Diesel,
Yeah,
when is the last time you paid for any of that? You stream it all.
I'm just saying I could watch the match on SportsCenter because you knew the highlight was a backspin kick flip punch to the jaw.
That's true.
Well, she's walking away champion.
Tell a quick story on that. The first round MMA match I ever watched, they were building up that fight against her and that Brazilian.
Yeah.
I don't remember her name, but she had said some shit to Ronda Rousey about how she hopes she kills herself like her father did.
Yeah, so it's yeah.
And then Ronda's like, you know what, I'm gonna go do this in your hometown, which was badass as fuck.
And she just
she went down there and like
35 seconds.
I'm waiting all night for this fight. I paid for it, and all this garbage is on beforehand. I'm not even watching it. I'm just drinking. The fight comes on. Like she gets knocked down, right? And then like you're like everybody's cheering, and I'm like, wait, like she's gonna get back up. Like this round 2, like this is like boxing. Let's do this. That was awesome. And then they're like people also they're like, no, it's over. And I was like, wait, what? Like mom's gonna kill me. I just put like $100 on the charter.
That was a great. That was great. Ronda Rousey's run, man. But I think we'll have to start to wrap it up. Go to our few good minutes segment. Anything you've seen since last week where we podcasted that you want to talk about? Now's your time. Anyone want to start us off on that?
I'll go first, so hopefully nobody steals it. The whole Chief Wahoo news coming out of Cleveland. I absolutely hate it. If you don't know Chief Wahoo, it's the Indian logo that is used by the Indians of Cleveland, the baseball team. It's apparently derogatory towards Indians, which, I would really have to go deep into the history of this topic, and I don't have enough time or, frankly, energy to do it. I mean, is it not the same? It's just a name for someone. An Indian is the name for that type of race. Such like it would be a cowboy. Is that not the same thing?
No, because the logo itself is basically just like a caricature, I guess. And
it's very like red-faced, and it's got big feathers. Which obviously a slight derogatory, potentially. It depends on who you are. I mean, like you could say Cowboys is a bad example, but I'm sure there's other stuff out there. And I just hate where this is going. Like I love the Florida State Seminoles, and that is no disrespect to Indians at all. That's a little bit different because it's not a big, whatever. And same for the Redskins. Though my thing is, it's like how long until they're all gone? Not very long, I'm sure. And then how long until people start coming after like the Brewers? Well, it's an alcoholic team. It's just supposed to be a kids program. They play at Miller Park. Blah blah blah. We don't want them associated with a beer league or a beer. Their whole logo is based on a beer. That's all it is. Just wait till that. Some fucking bigwig's gonna get their kid killed in a drunk driving accident. They drank Miller in the car, and there goes the Brewers logo. That'll be next. I'm just saying it's so dumb. You can't have anything anymore. And if Indians are really, really offended by it, then sure, get rid of it, whatever. But I mean, did they poll any Indians? Did they go talk to any Indians? Where's this coming from? I think this is so dumb. And I'm done with the topic. 2 minutes or so.
All right, Garb, what do you got? Nothing. You want me?
Honest,
you want me to go, or do you just have nothing?
Yeah, you go.
All right, I'm going to talk just quick update. NFL Combine. It took them a while, but after like the third time, and they're getting shamed into it. Basically, Shaquem Griffin from UCF is getting an invite, and they should have done it the first time around because he's second team All-American in the country. Killed it for UCF this year, and I think he could end up killing it at the Combine. I'm looking forward to seeing that. It's good on the NFL Combine for finally doing it. That's my minute.
Nice.
So I'm just going to kind of bring it to the NBA. And as a Bucks fan, having Jason
Bucks!
Kidd move out, yeah, you know it. Let's go. With Jason Kidd moving out, it was time. He had his struggles there. I know Giannis was a big fan of Jason Kidd and really liked what he did for him and how he helped him develop. But I got to give some props here to Joe Prunty. Prunty? I don't know how to really pronounce it well. But, I mean, we're on a 4-game win streak as of yesterday. So, obviously, he's doing something well with that lineup. I'm hoping that he's able to continue through this season because he was given the coaching spot for the entire year, that he's able to at least get us out of the bottom part of the Eastern Conference. There's no reason with people like Giannis and Chris Middleton, who Chris Middleton, I believe, was just named – he's either Eastern Player of the Month or Eastern Player of the Week. And Giannis, who is a candidate for MVP this year, we shouldn't be struggling this much in the conference that we're in. So I'm hoping that he's able to get these matchup and these lineups working for us, where I think Jason Kidd was kind of struggling over the past year or so, and really maximized Giannis's ability to continue to flourish, obviously with the help of Middleton. I know Thonmaker's having some struggles, but Brogdon and even Bledsoe. I mean, we have so many stars that, yes, we're young. We can really make a huge dent into this Eastern Conference. I don't think it's enough, no matter what coach we have, to make it to the finals, just because Cleveland is such a powerhouse right now, as well as the Celtics. But there's no reason that we can't at least try to fight to get to at least the championship game. So I'm really looking forward to what Prunty's going to do here with the Bucks, and hopefully they're able to at least work their way into the top half of the Eastern Conference for the playoffs. So kudos to him over this past week.
Yeah, the Bucks are looking good. They get Jabari back Friday.
Yeah, they do.
Kudos to Bucks management for dropping Kidd's dumbass.
And with that, that's episode 31 of A Few Good Mics. I'd like to thank you guys for whether if you watched it on YouTube, listen on iTunes, hit the like button, share it, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. See you next week.
Howdy.
Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Ooh.